From our Toronto studios, this is the Muslim News and Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Aishah Ashraf. Our top story for today: President Donald Trump has announced the delivery of 1,800 Mk-84 bombs to Israel. The Pentagon lifted the hold on the 2,000-pound munitions last week after informing Israeli officials. The weapons were delayed under former President Joe Biden's administration. Biden had paused the shipment in May, citing concerns over civilian casualties during Israel's genocide in Gaza. The move had sparked tensions between the U.S. and Israel. Observers say the shipment marks a shift in U.S.-Israeli relations as the bombs boost Israel's military arsenal amid widespread outrage over its genocide in Gaza. President Donald Trump's suggestion for Egypt and Jordan to absorb millions of Palestinian refugees from Gaza has drawn widespread global criticism and confusion. Over the weekend, Trump proposed relocating Gaza's 1.5 million people, calling the region a mess. The proposal faced immediate rejection from Egypt and Jordan. Jordanian Foreign Minister Ayman Safadi called the plan firmly unacceptable, warning that it would destabilize the region. Egypt also dismissed the idea, saying it risked escalating the conflict and violating Palestinian rights. Both nations stressed their commitment to a political solution that protects Palestinian rights to their homeland. European leaders also condemned the idea. Hamas, along with returning displaced Palestinians in Gaza, rejected the notion of relocation. In the U.S., even staunchly pro-Israel allies like Senator Lindsey Graham criticized the plan, calling it impractical. Tens of thousands of displaced Palestinians in Gaza are returning home through the Netzarim corridor. This marks their first journey back north since Israel's genocide began in 2023. Videos show vehicles and carts loaded with belongings queuing near the Al-Rashid road checkpoint along Gaza's coastline. Hamas called the return a victory and a failure for Israeli occupation plans. Netzarim, which was once a death trap, is now a symbol of resilience. The area was previously leveled by the Israeli military, leaving it unrecognizable. In the West Bank, Israeli forces continued their attack on Jenin for the seventh day. Witnesses reported home demolitions, explosions, and clashes. Jenin's mayor, Mohammed Jarar, on Sunday said some 15,000 people were forced to flee their homes and areas in the camp due to Israeli attacks. Meanwhile, Qatar announced humanitarian aid delivery to Gaza, including 2,600 tons of supplies via the Erez crossing. Qatar also confirmed Hamas's agreement to release Israeli prisoners as part of a ceasefire deal. Israel's genocide in Gaza has killed at least 47,306 Palestinians and wounded 111,483 since October 7, 2023. More than 11,000 people are missing. The International Criminal Court issued arrest warrants in November last year for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant for crimes against humanity in Gaza. Israel also faces a genocide case at the International Court of Justice for its Gaza war. The Massachusetts chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations has criticized Harvard Medical School for canceling a panel featuring Palestinians. The event was reportedly canceled after concerns arose that it was one-sided as it did not include Israeli perspectives. CAIR Massachusetts Executive Director Tahira Amatul Wadud called the decision unjust. She said discussing genocide victims' experiences should not require counter-narratives. Amatul Wadud also emphasized the need to respect Palestinian voices and their dignity. CAIR urged institutions to allow marginalized voices to be heard without interference, highlighting the importance of understanding the human impact of war. Colombia has agreed to all of President Donald Trump's demands on deporting illegal migrants from the U.S., the White House has announced. The deal follows a diplomatic row sparked by Colombian President Gustavo Petro's earlier refusal to allow deportees on U.S. military aircrafts. Trump responded with threats of tariffs, a travel ban, and financial sanctions on Colombia. The new agreement includes accepting deportees, including those on U.S. military flights, without delay or limitation. In exchange, the U.S. will hold off planned tariffs and sanctions under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. However, visa sanctions and enhanced border inspections will remain until the first group of deportees is successfully returned. Trump has stressed his commitment to protecting U.S. sovereignty and ensuring global cooperation on deportations. The White House says this agreement underscores America's renewed strength on the global stage. Dozens were arrested in a major raid by the Drug Enforcement Agency near Denver, targeting the Venezuelan Nicaragua or TDA gang. The raid took place at a secret invite-only nightclub in Adams County. Nearly 50 people, described as illegal aliens, were taken into custody by Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. Authorities seized drugs, weapons, and cash during the operation. Homeland Security, ICE, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives joined the raid. TDA, originally a Venezuelan prison gang, has rapidly expanded across the Americas. Last year, President Joe Biden designated it a transnational criminal organization. This raid is part of a months-long investigation into the gang's activities in Colorado. It follows heightened political attention on immigration issues after recent incidents involving armed groups in the area. Homan defends ICE raids in schools amid controversy. Details come after the break. Stay tuned and we will be right back. Welcome back. President Donald Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, is defending his decision to allow Immigration and Customs Enforcement raids in schools, hospitals, and churches. Speaking on ABC's This Week with Martha Raddatz, Homan addressed the administration's mass deportation plans. Raddatz questioned the policy change that ends the restriction on ICE operations in what are called sensitive locations. She specifically asked about targeting middle and elementary schools. The decision has sparked widespread debate, with many questioning the ethics of targeting vulnerable spaces such as schools and churches for immigration enforcement. Homan justified the policy, saying arrests are planned carefully and focused on national security and public safety threats. He emphasized that ICE officers are highly trained and operate under strict supervision when working in sensitive areas. Critics have expressed alarm over the administration's decision, which formally rescinds guidelines preventing such arrests. Homan also acknowledged the high cost of the deportation plans, urging Congress to approve additional funding to support the mission. President Donald Trump, who withdrew from the World Health Organization shortly after his inauguration last week, said he may reconsider rejoining the global body. Speaking at a rally in Las Vegas, Trump criticized the funding imbalance, noting the U.S. paid $500 million annually, while China contributed only $39 million. Trump justified the withdrawal from the WHO, calling it unfair, but left the door open for a potential return. On Saudi Arabia, Trump praised Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's $600 billion investment plan in the U.S. over 4 years. He vowed to push for $1 trillion, citing Saudi Arabia's wealth from what he called liquor gold, referring to oil. Highlighting warm U.S.-Saudi ties, Trump recalled his 2017 visit to the kingdom. He suggested revisiting if Saudi Arabia agrees to purchase $500 billion in American goods. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer sharply criticized President Donald Trump for firing up to 15 independent inspectors general. Schumer called the dismissals a chilling purge and accused Trump of showing a lawless approach to governance. The firings, which affect key federal agencies, may violate federal law requiring Congress to receive 30 days' notice before such actions. Schumer accused Trump of fearing accountability and transparency. Republican Senator Susan Collins also expressed confusion, questioning why Trump would remove officials tasked with combating waste and fraud. She said this creates gaps in crucial oversight. The firings have sparked bipartisan concerns over the potential erosion of government oversight and accountability. The CIA now supports the theory that the coronavirus pandemic may have originated from an accidental lab leak in China. According to a New York Times report, the CIA's shift towards favoring the theory is not based on new intelligence, but on a reassessment of existing evidence. The report indicated the agency's analysis includes a closer examination of conditions at high-security laboratories in Wuhan, China, before the outbreak. A CIA spokesperson noted other theories remain plausible and emphasized that the agency continues to evaluate any credible new intelligence. The CIA has long maintained uncertainty about whether the pandemic originated from human exposure to an infected animal or a potential incident at a research lab in China. New CIA Director John Ratcliffe, who was nominated by President Donald Trump and confirmed by the Senate earlier this week, approved declassification of the agency's new assessment. The Red Cross has raised alarm over attacks on vital infrastructure in Sudan, urging all parties to protect these critical facilities. Key civilian sites, including power plants, water stations, and dams in northern states, River Nile and Gadaref, among others, have seen extensive damage. According to the International Committee of the Red Cross, these attacks have also put technical teams at great risk. Head of ICRC operations in Sudan, Dorsa Nazemi Salman, called the pattern of attacks disturbing. She urged respect for international humanitarian law and commitments under the 2023 Jeddah Declaration. The ongoing conflict between Sudan's paramilitary rapid support forces and the Sudanese army, which began in April 2023, has killed thousands. The ICRC stresses the urgent need to protect hospitals, water, and electricity installations to ensure civilian survival. The northern Indian state of Uttarakhand has sparked outrage after beginning the implementation of a uniform civil code. It replaces religious laws on marriage, divorce, and inheritance with a set of new regulations. The state, ruled by Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party, claims the move promotes equality. However, critics argue it disproportionately targets India's Muslim minority, sparking fears of religious discrimination. The code has been a long-standing objective of the country's Hindu nationalists. It overrides religious customs that have historically governed civil matters in India. Critics say it imposes majority Hindu customs on the minorities. The Jumiyat Ulema-e-Hind, India's largest socio-religious Muslim organization, labeled the law an assault on religious freedom and vowed to challenge it in court. Uttarakhand is only the second Indian state to adopt such a code after Goa. It has sparked a broader debate on religious freedoms and minority rights in India. That's all from our Toronto studios. Thank you for watching Muslim News. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. You can donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV. Salam.